Now, I'm not one to gossip, but I will bring you the tea. Welcome to Chronicle Speaks.
Please, I don't have any time for any gossip now. Eh? Yes.
Look at you.
So we've made it to week number 2, trial day number 6. Now, Cassie Ventura returned to the witness stand last Friday for a more intense cross-examination. Now, Diddy's legal team tried to poke holes in her credibility by bringing up inconsistencies between her past interviews and current testimony, especially regarding drug use, her relationship timeline, and past settlements. Now, a big moment came when the defense attorney zeroed in on the infamous 2016 Intercontinental Hotel surveillance video. Now, the defense implied that the incident may have happened due to Diddy going through an episode of withdrawal, reminding Cassie that in 2012, Diddy had to go to the hospital due to overdosing off of painkillers. They read through Diddy and Cassie's texts just days after the 2016 incident and were wondering if the violent scene in the footage matched her detailed testimony. Now, despite staying calm for most of the day, Cassie got emotional when asked about how Diddy allegedly pressured her into freak-offs and whether she felt she had a choice. She said she often disassociated to cope. After her cross-examination, prosecutors took back control and clarified many of the questions the defense is trying to distort, and they had Cassie reaffirm key parts of her story, including Diddy's control, threats, and emotional toll. Cassie's last day on the stand ended after 4 long days of emotional testimony, with the defense ending with one important question. Ms. Ventura, you just reached a $10 million settlement with the Intercontinental last week before trial. And right after an objection from the prosecution was overruled, Cassie responded, yes. We heard from SHI agent Yazin Benda, who informed us that there were several bottles of baby oil, Astroglide, $9,000 in cash, cameras, lighting, pink Tucci, also known to be ketamine, and a medicine bottle prescribed under the name Frank White. This was all found in the hotel that Diddy was living in, waiting for the feds to pick him up. So it seems like Diddy wanted one last freak off for old time's sake. We also heard from former Danity Kane and Diddy Dirty Money member Don Richard. She recounted chilling details of Diddy hitting Cassie in the head with a skillet, dragging her up the stairs by her hair, and yelling at her. Don is expected to take the stand again today, detailing more events that has happened with Cassie and maybe some of her own. We're going to get into the story of day number 6 and so much more, but before we do, please be sure to subscribe to this channel and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss out on any news regarding this case and so much more. Now let's get back into it. Day number 6 is starting. All rise. Judge Subramanian on the defense's application, he says, with regard to Don Richard, Ms. Garagos, who happens to be Diddy's attorney, opening statements opened the door to this testimony. As to Mr. James, who was Diddy's personal assistant, his testimony would be inadmissible. So the defense is attempting to throw out Don Richard's testimony, and the judge is saying Teeny Garagos' opening statement opened the door to this testimony. So deal with it. Judge Subramanian says to the government, the same brand of testimony that was objected to on Friday, does the government expect Ms. Richard to say what she heard and what she saw? They say yes. That would be permissible, just like the testimony in the recording studio. Prosecutor Slavic says personal assistants were with Mr. Combs 20 hours a day. Their testimony is admissible. The judge says, my concern is that there are other ways to get this evidence in. What Mr. James would add is just the postscript. So what he's pretty much saying is there's no need to add Mr. James, the assistant, because we're getting all of this same information from other people that were there. Diddy's lead attorney Agnifilo says on the David James issue, the personal assistant, this defeats the whole purpose of this hearsay objection. The government is arguing that it's all admissible because the job descriptions are so vague. We contend these are personal matters. Judge says, let me focus you on the assault on the chef. Mr. James learns from a member of the security detail that Mr. Combs assaulted the chef. Wouldn't that be in the scope of their employment? Agnifilo says, I don't know what relevance this has to racketeering. He continues by saying this is becoming a sort of bad act free-for-all. Assault is just not one of the racketeering acts. Prosecutor Slavic says this is relevant to the means and methods of the enterprise. The chef is identified as a victim of forced labor. Agnifilo says, I'm going to refer to Ms. Westmoreland on the other witness. Combs' attorney Westmoreland says Ms. Richard claims that Mr. Combs assaulted Ms. Ventura right in front of her. These other alleged threats are nowhere near in close proximity to an alleged assault. Ms. Westmoreland continues, we have to distinguish between the Danny D. Kane and the Diddy Dirty Money era. And Mr. Pierre telling her, where are you going to go? I don't see how that could be construed as a threat. The judge says, let me think about it. He continues by saying, we have an application from the press that emails be put in the record. I am directing you to put them together and put them in the docket by next Tuesday. And after that, on a weekly basis. Okay, the jury is entering. Don is already on the witness stand. And the prosecution says, so when Mr. Combs told you people could go missing, how did you interpret it? That people could die. I couldn't believe that this could be the beginning of the journey for us. Us meaning Diddy Dirty Money? Yes. So what did you observe? He would drag her and kick her and punch her in the mouth. What would prompt these acts of violence? Objection, says the defense. Judge says overruled. When she would speak up for herself. Okay, so Ms. Richard, who in security would witness these things? D-Rock and Roger Bonds. Where did Ms. Ventura get hit? Her knees, her face, all over. Did there come a time where you were in New York for a festival? Yes, in Central Park. In the residence, what happened? He punched Cassie. She came into the bathroom crying. You could see her upset, like she was hurt. Objection, says the defense. Judge says sustained. What injuries did you observe? A swollen eye. Why'd you stay with Miss Ventura after this incident? I just wanted her to feel supported. What's this? The Central Park event. They show a photo of Cassie in sunglasses and Don Richard too. Why did you wear them? Solidarity. Okay, and for the next assault, who was there? D-Rock, Capricorn Clark, Harv Pierre, and who was Mr. Pierre? At Bad Boy answering to Sean Combs, did they do anything? None of us did anything. When we drove back to LA, he slapped Cassie in the mouth and told her to shut the F up. And how did the passengers respond? We stayed silent the rest of the ride. I asked myself, if he'd do that to someone he supposedly loved, what would he do to an employee? So I'd approach Mr. Combs with softness. Did you try to intervene in the relationship? No, for my own safety. Did you see Mr. Combs using drugs? Yes, weed, ketamine, Molly, cocaine. Any opiates? That I never saw. Who brought him the drugs? One stop he had it all, including Plan B and birth control. Did you see Mr. Combs with guns? Yes, handguns on his lower back. Who else had guns? D-Rock, Roger Bonds. What did you do after Bad Boy? I sing. Whenever I got momentum, I'd get a FaceTime from him. And how would you speak to him? Very soft. I'd always call him bro. Why did you not disclose the abuse you'd seen? I was told not to by Mr. Combs and Harv Pierre. So when did you speak out, Don? 2024. I saw Miss Ventura take a stand and tell the truth. Defense says objection. Judge says sustained. Did you see Ms. Ventura file a civil lawsuit and then you filed your civil lawsuit? Yes. The judge asked the defense, cross. Ms. Westmoreland said, you are aware there's a motion to dismiss your lawsuit. Don says, I have civil lawyers. You sat with the prosecutors and your allegations have changed. I've been consistent. You testified he attempted to hit her about the eggs and Ms. Ventura dropped down in a fetal position, right? Yes. Did you ever say you heard a pan hit the wall? You didn't see it? I don't recall. Ms. Richard, I do want to remind you that you're under oath. Would you agree with me that it has been hard for you to keep your story straight with respect to the eggs incident? I told it as close as I could. The day after you said Mr. Combs said people go missing. Yes. Let's go to your interview on March 18, 2025. You did not say anything about Mr. Combs told you people go missing. I don't recall that. No worries, I'm going to show you a document. For the parties only, page 5. Isn't it true the first time you said this was a week ago? Would you like for me to show you your previous interview? I know what I said. You said Mr. Combs made a death threat, one that you didn't recall 7 times. Okay, so let's move to the alleged incident before the Central Park concert. You are aware that there was a camera crew. Not in the bathroom. You were filmed in the park. Are you aware if the video has been turned over? No. About the guns, you didn't tell the prosecutors about I saw guns at Daddy's house? They didn't ask. You never saw Mr. Combs pull a gun out and wave it around, load bullets or cock it. He just had it. Did you tell the government you never saw Mr. Combs do cocaine? I don't recall. Your testimony has changed on quite a few things. As time progresses, I remember more.
Oh, hell no!
Whoo, Miss Westmoreland is Diddy bopping all on Don's top. You saw One Stop sell drugs. You saw him take money? Yes. All right, 1 second. Didn't you tell the government you never saw anyone pay him? So you lied, right? No. Judge Subramanian calls for a sidebar. You perceived the threats as death threats. You feared for your life. I was scared. You're away from Mr. Combs in 2011, but then you come and ask him to work with him again. But he had threatened you, right? You asked to work with him again? Yes. Oh, okay. The songs you released on your own have not reached the level of what you released with Danity Kane and Diddy Dirty Money, right? True. And you reached out to Mr. Combs to try to make more money, right? Yes. Dawn testifies that she was saddened by Sean Combs deciding to dismantle both of her groups, Danity Kane and Diddy Dirty Money. You felt like Mr. Combs ruined your career not once, but twice, right? Yes. Miss Westmoreland asked Dawn to admit that she filed the lawsuit against Combs to get a lot of money. Richard says no, but she did say that she wanted to be compensated for the work that she put forth. The prosecution asked for a quick sidebar. Okay, so now they're back from a not so short sidebar and it's time for the prosecution to redirect. Prosecution says, why did you file your civil lawsuit? When I worked for Sean Combs, I had no sleep. The conditions. Okay, in every meeting with the government, did you say that Mr. Combs beat Miss Ventura? Yes. The prosecution asked whether Richard had thought about the incidents a lot over the decade since she witnessed them. She says no, it was a hard time, a bad time for me. It did not all come back immediately. The environment was traumatizing, so I tried to erase those things from my memory. By speaking with investigators, Richard said that her memories come back to her every day and that she also tries to relay things as best and as accurately as she can. She confirms that she did tell the government that she saw Combs hitting Cassie and that he threatened her to keep it quiet several meetings. She says she has no doubt that Combs tried to strike Cassie or that Cassie went into the fetal position. Why did you reach out to Mr. Combs? One of the judges on Making the Band, Lorianne Gibson, said I should reach out. Objection, says Westmoreland. Sustained, says the judge. How often would you hear from Mr. Combs after you left Diddy Dirty Money? Sporadic. Now, why did you reach out? Dawn admits that she did not want to reach out because she said it wasn't good when she worked with Mr. Combs. She said, I didn't want it, but I was trying to help my friend, Kalina Harper. Miss Westmoreland says, may we have a brief conference at the back? And yet we have another sidebar. Cassie Ventura's former best friend, Kerry Morgan, has been called to the stand. Judge Subramanian ruled that Morgan could testify that Ventura told her that she was scared of Combs. She told her she couldn't break up with him because he controlled her career. The government asked Kerry Morgan, where do you live? Los Angeles. And who is this? A photo is shown. Kerry Morgan says, Cassie Ventura. What was your relationship? We were best friends. Her boyfriend assaulted me. Do you see him here? Yes, there in the yellow sweater. Let the record reflect that the witness has identified defendant Sean Combs. Why are you here? I got subpoenaed. Where did you live with Cassie? Manhattan. Did Cassie drink? Not much. Any drugs? None. What was she doing for work? Modeling. Then she recorded me and you. When did you learn that they were dating? 2007. Did you travel with Cassie and Mr. Combs? Yes, Ibiza, Miami. What drugs did Mr. Combs provide? Molly, marijuana, ecstasy. Which did Mr. Combs take? All. Did you take drugs along with Cassie? Opiates. How did Mr. Combs act? He would yell at Cassie. She lost her confidence big time, lost her spark. Mr. Combs talked down to Cassie? Yes. About her look? Who she talked to? Did he contact you looking for her? Yes, a lot. Sometimes he would call 50 times in a row. Would others call you for him? Yes, Christina Coram or KK. Did you witness assaults? Yes, first in the Hollywood Hills. Ruben, one of the security guards, was there. What did Mr. Combs do to Cassie? He kicked her. What did she do? Nothing. I told Ruben to do something. He indicated he wouldn't. Then what? We left the house. Cassie and I were hiding by someone's front steps. And the next time? In Jamaica, I saw him drag her by her hair. I ran back to get my purse and phone so we could leave. What did you see next? I saw him push her onto the ground and she hit her head on a brick. She didn't move. She was laying in a loose fetal position and her eyes were closed. I thought she was knocked out. 20 to 30 seconds later, she got up and ran into a wooded area. What happened next? There were 2 golf carts in the driveway. I got in one and Sean got in the other. We went in different directions looking for Cassie. Did you find her? Yes. We hid in the ditch whispering. What about the incident at the Comstock apartment? Cassie came back with a hoodie covering her face. Then Sean came and tried to get in, hitting the door with a hammer. I called D-Rock. Did he get in? No. Then the police came. So what happened then? Cassie wouldn't show them her ID. Nothing happened. They left a card. Read this message. Did you send this attachment? Yes, a photo of the card the detective left. Did Mr. Combs ever assault you? Yes, he hit me with a wooden coat hanger and choked me. Where did the hanger hit you? Behind my right ear. What did he express concern about? Who Cassie was cheating on him with? So Kerry, who did you speak with about it? Ryan, Sean's old assistant. What did he do? Nothing. She shrugs her shoulders. I have not spoken with Cassie since. The judge calls for a break. So while the jury is out on lunch, the arguments continue. The judge says, what's your best citation to try to get this evidence in? The prosecution starts listing documents. Judge says, I'll look at them and we'll come back. Ignifilo says, I haven't seen these before. The judge says, you all need to get something to eat. Break. Okay, so now we're back from a brief lunch, and the judge says, if I let this in, Miss Ventura could be recalled as a witness. Prosecution says, I doubt that we would call her. Judge says the defense could call her to come back to the stand. Prosecution says, I doubt that she would be available. Judge says the evidence is out. Submarinian continues, I anticipate Mr. David James will be the next witness. How is this relevant? Prosecution says, as to the means and methods of the enterprise, Mr. Combs threatened to assault employees. Okay, so now the jury is entering. Prosecution says, no further questions for Miss Morgan. Judge says, cross. Here comes Ignifilo. You were Miss Ventura's best friend from 2004? Actually, 2001. We met waiting for the Polaroids to develop. I was living in Buffalo and she was in Connecticut. Then you were both in NYC? I stayed downtown. She moved to Harlem. Have you ever met Kim Porter? Yes, probably at a concert. Was Cassie ever jealous? Yes. And the other way around? Cassie was speaking with Michael B. Jordan and Sean got jealous. She was trying to leave him. You were both using drugs. No, we were in South Africa. Did you learn about Gina? Yes. He was having a full-on relationship with this little girl. Why do you call her that? She acts like that. She's younger than us. When you say Sean came and hammered on the door, why did the police come? They said because of the noise. Cassie was visibly injured, but she didn't say anything. Ignifilo asked, from your perspective, they were very much in love? Morgan testified on cross-examination that Ventura and Combs were in love and that it was mutual from her perspective. She agreed with Ignifilo's premise that Combs was a flawed person. Now, Morgan admitted that while she sometimes told Ventura to break up with Combs, she told her to remain in the relationship on other occasions. Morgan said she was personally assaulted by Combs with a wooden hanger in 2018, giving her a massive concussion and leaving her shaken. The witness stopped talking to Ventura after the artist offered her $30,000 to sign a non-disclosure agreement, which Morgan accepted but saw as betrayal, according to her testimony. You two were best friends for 18 years, but now you haven't spoken with her since 2018? That's true. At the danger of being Captain Obvious, that's a long time. She's moved on. Objection, says prosecution. Why haven't you spoken with her? She did not support me after Sean assaulted me. I drew the line at assault. So you reached a settlement with Miss Ventura? The money came from Mr. Combs. Ignifilo shows Kerry Morgan photos, then asks, do you know if Louise Hayes is a self-help author about self-affirmation? Yes. Why did you send him this? With words of encouragement. I don't remember sending it. Okay, so I want to show you a few more photos, but first let's talk about the incident when he put his hands on your neck. Were you and Cassie using any drugs at the time? No. What did he say? He said, who is she cheating with? You went to urgent care and not the hospital? Right. But didn't you tell the prosecutors it was bloody and you went to the hospital? I don't remember that. Look at this 3500 material not shown to the jury. I see that I said that. Now it's time for cross-examination. Now, Prosecutor Foster said, do you remember Mr. Ignifilo asking you about the incident in LA? Objection, said the defense. Overruled. And he hit her like in Jamaica, arguing about jealousy. What happened in Jamaica? He dragged Cassie by her hair, a filthy yard hallway. Was he talking about jealousy? No, he had spent too long in the bathroom. Nothing further. Any recross? Ignifilo says no, Your Honor. Next witness is David James. Now, why are you here, says the prosecution. I've been subpoenaed, said David James. And were you Combs' personal assistant from 2007 to 2009? Who is that in this photo? That is David James. That is yourself? Yes. James continues by saying, I went to college in Michigan. Later, I faxed my resume to Bad Boy. Okay, Mr. James, where was the interview conducted? 1710 Broadway. Who'd you meet? Tommy, his sister Keisha, and others. Okay, and how did they test you? They gave me 40 appointments and asked me to make a schedule. You had to know, for example, what time a particular show came on Hot 97. What did Mr. Combs ask you? To make a spreadsheet for Miami? I said I know his food and restaurant preferences. He asked me why I'd make a good assistant. I told him, can't stop, won't stop.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Baby, I am liking David already. His sense of humor is crazy. Upon interviewing, the team told him, this is Mr. Combs' kingdom. We're all here to serve in it. Prosecution said, did he have others, meaning assistants? He had Ms. Robles, Mr. Barber, others. What would you do as assistant? Bad boy to 5, out to dinners, then out to the studio to 3 a.m. We get a call time at the end of the night. David James said Sean Combs had a rather unique rider when he would stay at hotels. A rider is a list of stipulations of what a prominent guest would like in their hotel room. James said he would prepare riders for Combs for the hotel as well as green rooms and music venues. He didn't elaborate on what was in the rider, but it's fair to say that the government will return to this. Did you travel with Mr. Combs as well? Yes. Who's the security staff? D-Rock, Bonds, Uncle Paulie? You work 20 hours a day? Yes, security did too. What did security staff tell you? To stay in my lane. Who said that? Bond, Uncle Paulie. Focusing on his personal chef. Who is he? Chef Jordan Atkinson. Did Mr. Combs have a girlfriend then? Yes, Kim Porter, Sarah, Tara, Yana, and Cassie. This man knows where all the bodies is buried. What was your first conversation with Cassie? We were on Star Island. Kerry Morgan was there too. Cassie said, this lifestyle is crazy. I asked her, why don't you leave? She said, Sean controls my life, my music. He pays for my apartment. Next conversation, it was about her music, but the album never came out. Did you overhear a conversation? Yes. Mr. Combs said, Kim is my queen out in LA with my family. He said, I have Cassie right here. I want her. She's young and moldable. Prosecution says, Your Honor, how much longer do you want to go? This would be a good place to break. The judge says, we'll break for the day. So court is adjourned for the day, abruptly. But the government said before the parties left for the day that it plans to call a number of witnesses on Tuesday, including a male escort, a former personal chef for Sean Combs, and Regina Ventura, who happens to be Cassie Ventura's mother. We have a lot to go. This is only week number 2 of 8 weeks. So leave a comment. Tell me everything you think about day number 6, and you know how we do. We'll talk about it down below. Talk to you guys later. Bye. Thanks for watching, but before you go, hit the subscribe button, the like button, and the bell so you don't miss out on any of my new episodes.